Good afternoon, everyone. This is back to
Good
physics
afternoon,
class,
sir.
and we are dealing with second lecture between in this chapter, motion in 1D. In the last chapter, we had seen the definition of distance and displacement, and we had solved one or two questions. Do we remember this?
Yes, sir.
Well, just to give you a quick recap, I will start this class with a question, and I hope that you can solve this question for me. So here is the question. I had sent you the sheets, the DPPs. Did you get those? The
No, sir.
practice exercise.
We did not receive, sir. We did not get it.
You did not get it. I've already sent it, and I have ensured that you will get it. Don't worry, you will get it probably. Meanwhile, you can continue with this. This is the first question for the class. It is a revision of what we had done in the previous one. A body moves over 1/4 of a circular arc of radius r. What is the magnitude of distance traveled and displacement? Basically, when you talk about displacement, you must tell two things. One is the magnitude, the other one is the direction.
Direction.
In most of the cases, they will only ask you the magnitude. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
What is the magnitude of displacement and distance traveled? Here are the four options. Do you know which is the correct one? I'll give you a minute to solve it. Can you solve it? To solve this question, remember, any question in physics, if you want to solve it, it's always good to draw a diagram,
Yes, sir.
right? A diagram will give you a lot of insight into how that question can be done. In this case, I have drawn a small diagram for you. The diagram may not be there in the question. Since this is the first question, I have drawn the diagram for you. So the particle was probably at point A. That was the initial position. And then it reaches point B. Point B is the final position. So can you tell me how much distance it has traveled and what is the magnitude of displacement? I'll wait. I'll give you 1 minute to solve it and I'll wait. Yes, beta, any idea? What is the answer? What is the distance traveled? Tell me the first thing. What is the distance traveled? What is the distance traveled? Yes. I have moved from point A, which is my initial position, to point B, which is my final position. What is the distance traveled? Yes. Do you know it or you don't know it? Okay. Can you tell me what is distance traveled? What is the definition of distance traveled?
Length of the path.
So in this case, body moves from A to B. What you have to find out?
Length of A to B.
You cannot find out the length from A to B. Don't know how to find out length from A to B?
2 hours.
This is the length that you have to calculate. The pink one is the length that you need to calculate. This value. Can you tell me how much will be this length? No? Ever heard about circumference of a circle? Have you heard about that
Pi
term?
r by 2, sir. Pi r by 2, sir, distance.
Why does it take so long for you to answer this? It is 1/4 of the circumference of the circle, and therefore the distance traveled would be pi r by 2. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well done. So this is the distance traveled by the body. It is pi r by 2 meters. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you talk about displacement, how will you find out the displacement? To find out the displacement, you will draw a vector from A to B. Okay, I cannot draw it straight. So you have to draw a vector from A to B. The vector AB is your displacement. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So my displacement is the vector. My displacement is the vector AB. Now this vector AB has two things. It has a magnitude and it has a direction. Can you tell me what is the magnitude of this vector? Magnitude of this vector means the length of this side AB. Can you tell me what will be the length of this side AB? As you can see, this is something that you know. This is R, this side is R, this side is R. Can you tell me what will be the length of the side AB? Can you tell me, bacha, what will be the length of the side AB?
R root 2, sir.
R root 2, sir. That is correct, sir. It is root 2 times R from Pythagoras theorem, right angle triangle, perpendicular square plus base square. And the direction, to find out the direction, you have to tell me how much is this angle theta, which it makes with the x-axis. You can easily find out. This will be perpendicular divided by base. Do we understand this, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Perpendicular
Tan
is
inverse 1, sir.
tan inverse 1. So the angle would be 45 degrees with the x-axis. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
This angle was not asked in any case. So we only need to find out this answer, which is root 2r. And that is how we solve this question. Remember, in the paper, they might not ask you the direction, but we must always think about the direction of a vector whenever we deal with vectors. We understand this? Have we noted down this question, beta?
Yes, sir. Done, sir.
Okay, that finishes distance and displacement, and we move forward in life. What is the next heading that we are going to write? What is the next thing that we are going to do? What is the next? definition or next term that we are going to study? Yes. What will be the next term that we are going to study?
Velocity.
Okay, not velocity. Let us first try and capture the concept of speed. Speed. Now, if I ask you what is speed, what are you going to tell me? If I ask you what is speed, what do you tell me? Are you going to tell me anything or should I write it on my own? Rate at which? Yes, can you complete it?
Distance.
Rate at which distance is covered with time. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
If I am covering distance with time, I am having speed. The rate at which I am doing it is known as my speed. If I cover large distances in small time, my speed is more. If I cover small distances in large time, my speed would be less. What type of quantity is speed? Doubts on this? What type of quantity is speed?
Scalar.
It is a scalar quantity. I hope we don't have any doubts on this. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What is the SI unit of speed?
Meter per second.
Meter per second would be the SI unit of speed. What would be the dimension of speed? Do we all know this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Then we move on to the next heading, and that will be what are the different types of speed that you have heard about? Different types of speed that you have heard about. Just tell me, what are the different types of speed that you might have heard about?
Average speed, instantaneous speed.
Okay, that is correct. But let me first introduce the simplest of them all, because probably you would have heard them in your ninth standard. The first one in this category is uniform speed. Have you heard about uniform speed? Have you heard about uniform speed?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by uniform speed, my dear friends? What do you mean by uniform speed? Yes. See, I write everything point wise. I always think that it is easier to understand things in point wise, so I write them point wise, not paragraph wise. Yes, what do you mean by uniform speed? When do we say a body is moving with uniform speed? The other name for uniform speed, which we commonly use, is also constant speed. So someone says a body is moving with uniform speed or constant speed, it means the same thing. What do you understand by uniform or constant speed? Yes? Don't worry. There are no right and no wrong answers. It's only the perception that matters.
Sir, we know, sir, but
Yes, just say whatever you know. I can understand what you're feeling. So don't worry. Just tell me, what is uniform speed? Explain it in whatever way you can. You may not know the
speed
definition.
which is traveled in particular interval of
Say na. Okay. If a body covers
equal distance in equal interval of time.
right, that is known as uniform speed. If a body travels or covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, we will say that the body is moving with uniform speed. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So it is very simple. You might have heard about it. You may not remember it. May be shy in recollecting it. You may not recollect it. Don't worry. It happens to the best of us. There is nothing wrong in not remembering it. There is nothing wrong in forgetting it. Everyone can forget it, not a problem. Uniform speed. A body moves equal distances in equal intervals of time. That is what we call as uniform speed. Do you see this uniform speed? When a body covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, you can see a body here, a bike. As you can see, it is covering 5 meters, equal distances. You look at the time slot. In every 1 second, it is covering 5 meters.
5 meters.
This is not meter per second, this is second. Its speed is uniform or its speed remains same or its speed remains constant. This is what we call a body moving with uniform speed or constant speed. The speed remains uniform or same or constant with time. You can also understand it equal distances in equal intervals of time. We got this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If the first one is this one, then what is the next one that we are going to do? What is the next one that we are going to do? This was the first type of speed. What is the second type of speed that we are going to deal with?
Non-uniform speed.
The second type of speed that we are going to deal with will be known as non-uniform. And there is one more term for non-uniform. Can you tell me what is that term that we can use for non-uniform speed? You can call it variable speed. A body moving with variable speed. Variable or non-uniform speed. Now, can you tell me when will the body move with variable or non-uniform speeds? Yes.
It covers equal distance in unequal interval of time.
Okay, that is correct. But having unequal distances of time, normally time is plotted on the x-axis. It's not good to plot unequal intervals of time on the x-axis. So we can just reverse it. So if I reverse it, then how will it look like?
Unequal distance in
If it covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
That is a better way of saying it. Instead of making time intervals unequal, it is better that we call the distance that it has traveled as unequal. Non-uniform or variable speed. That means speed is going to change with time. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
And but you can see it here that if I go about the distances it is covering in every second, that interval of time is same 1 second each, but in different time period of 1 second, it is covering different distances and therefore its speed is continuously changing. This type of speed, and normally a body will move with non-uniform speed because it is not possible for us to move at a constant speed. We have got lots of traffic lights and all those things. It's not possible for us to move with uniform speed. Most of the cases in our day-to-day life, we are moving with variable speed or non-uniform speed. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, these are the two types of speed that probably you would have heard in the 9th standard. Now we come to the third type of speed, which we normally hear in the 11th standard. And what is the third speed that we should deal with now?
Average.
That is average speed. Now, whenever we use the word average of anything is always calculated between 2 points or between for a given interval of time. So there must be 2 points, a starting point and an end point. To calculate any average, you need 2 points. So this is always calculated over an interval of time. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
It is always calculated over an interval of time because it is average. So you need 2 points. Between these two points, you can calculate the average value. Now, how do I represent this average? Average is represented by this dabba, this box, the box that I've created.
Yes,
That
sir.
box represents the
Average.
average. And normally in the books, you will see V is used for speed. I mean, it confuses me because V is normally used for velocity and speed commonly, but then it gets confusing because if I use V everywhere, it becomes tedious for me. So instead of using V, I will use S as speed. Remember, I'm not using S for displacement. For displacement, I'm using delta R. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
The Dabba sign tells us that this is average value. So I will use delta S. No, Dabba S for average speed. Now the next question comes, how do you find the average speed? If you have heard the term, you must also know what or how you are going to calculate average speed.
The total distance covered by the total time.
Yes,
Taken.
that is correct. Total distance traveled by the body divided by the total time.
Total time taken.
That thing gives me the average value. For example, if I go from here to my office, it is around 8 or 10 kilometers. If I travel it in 1 hour, my speed becomes 8 kilometer or 10 kilometer per hour. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
I can write it like this. Average speed is total L divided by total T, L divided by T. Or sometimes I can write it delta L divided by delta T. They basically mean the same thing. Delta L means how much distance it has traveled, total distance divided by total time. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
This is what I call average speed. And remember, average speed is always calculated over an interval of time. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
Now, it is always calculated over an interval of time. So there must be something that can be calculated at any given time. What is the fourth type of speed that we must understand now?
Instantaneous.
The fourth type of speed that we must understand now is instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed. Books will denote this instantaneous speed by V. V I'm going to use for velocity. So I'm simply going to use S. And remember, I'm not using S for displacement. I'm using delta R for displacement. Now, instantaneous speed. Now, how will you define instantaneous speed? Tell me.
The speed at particular instant of time.
Yes, remember, physics is very simple. Instantaneous is an English word. Instantaneous means right now at any instant of time. What is the speed? So instantaneous speed means speed at any instant. At any instant, what your speed is. At 5 seconds, what your speed is. At 6 seconds, what your speed is. That is known as instantaneous speed. Now, how do you find out this instantaneous speed if you are moving on a bike or a car? How can you tell? How can you find out what is your instantaneous speed? Which device helps you in finding out your instantaneous speed? A device known as speedometer. Have you seen this speedometer?
Yes, sir.
On your bike, you have a speedometer which keeps on flickering from here to here. That speedometer tells us the speed. Now, how do I find this instantaneous speed? I find this instantaneous speed as by the average speed but I make the time interval very small. I hope you understand this limit thing. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So basically, I can write it as dl by dt. That becomes my instantaneous speed s. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
dl by dt becomes my instantaneous speed. Now, since it is the derivative of L, I can also call it as rate of change of distance with time. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Rate of change of distance with time, or rate at which distance is covered with time. Now, look at what we had written in the definition of speed. In the definition of speed, we had also written the same thing. It is the rate at which the body covers distance with time. Yes or no? So basically, why I'm telling you all this is because you must understand, my dear friends, if someone is talking about, for example, if you're on a bike and I ask you, what is your speed? What are you going to tell me? You're going to tell me your speed at that point. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So whenever in normal language, in normal terminology, we use the word speed, which speed are we talking about? We are normally talking about, out of these four, if I use the word speed, which speed probably I am referring to? I am probably referring to,
Instantaneous.
I am probably 99% referring to instantaneous speed. If I have to ask your average speed, I'll ask you, okay, you came from home to this place, school. What was your average speed? Then you will say, okay, sir, I have traveled a distance of 15 kilometers and I have taken 2 hours. 15 divided by 2, 7.5 kilometer per hour was my average speed. So if I want to ask you the average speed, I might ask you, I would say the same language, what was your average speed? If I simply ask you, what is your speed? That means I am probably asking your instantaneous speed. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
So what we have read here is the definition of these four quantities. Most of the question, whenever they ask you speed, they're probably asking you instantaneous speed. But also one more thing, whenever questions in units and in motion in one dimension come, the simple question which are going to come in JEE, those questions, the body is going to move with uniform speed only. So if the body is moving with uniform speed, whether you find out instantaneous speed or you find out the average speed, both are going to be same. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That is an important point that you should write. If a body is moving with what? If a body is moving with,
Uniform speed,
then
the instantaneous speed and the average speed must be same.
if a body is moving with uniform speed, then I will write in terms of symbol, S dabba is equal to
Average
S.
speed and
Do we understand the meaning of this?
yes, sir.
S dabba is equal to S. Average speed and
Average
instantaneous speed
instantaneous
become same.
equal.
Yes or no? No, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you just remember these simple things, my dear friends, most of the questions that are going to come will be based on these simple concepts. They will ask you what is the average speed, what is the average velocity. Let us tackle these questions. Are you ready for the first one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us see who can solve this one. This is the first question that is coming for you on your screens now. The body covers 2/5 of the total distance with v1 speed. What type of speed would be v1? Will it be variable or will it be constant? What do you think about V1? Will it be variable speed, changing every time, or will it be constant?
Uniform, constant.
It will be constant. Then, so 2/5 of the distance, oops, wrong color. 2/5 of the distance he moves with V1, uniform speed. 3/5 of the distance he moves with uniform speed. V2 is not given uniform speed, but we'll have to assume that is uniform speed. What we have to find out is the average speed. Remember, we have only read the definition, and with those definition only, we have to solve this question. I hope you would be able to do this. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So here is your time. Here is your chance. I'll give you a minute to solve it. Yes, beta. Any answers? Shall I solve it for you? Shall I solve it for you, beta?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm assuming that the car is moving in a straight line. This is point A. This is point B. And from point A to point B, let me take the total distance as x. Now, I have a point C somewhere in between, not exactly in between. What is the distance from A to C?
X1,
2 by 5 of x, it is given.
2 by 5.
And what is the
3 by
distance?
5 of
3 by 5 of x.
6.
Now, I also know that from A to C, it is moving with a velocity how much? V1, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And from C to B, it is moving with a velocity V2, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I have to find out average speed. What was the formula for average speed?
Total distance covered by total time taken.
Total distance covered by total time taken. Let me call this time as T1 and let me call this time as T2. So what I need to do, how much is the total distance? How much is the total distance, beta?
5. 5.
How much is the total distance? You can't see? Please tell me. The total distance from A to B is x, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And the total time is T1 plus T2. Do we understand this, bacha?
Yes, sir.
I just need to find out the value of T1 and T2. How will I find out the value of T1 and T2? I know the distance here is 2 by 5x. It is moving with a uniform velocity. The velocity is v1. So I can relate these three things, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
How can I relate these things? Total distance divided by total time is your average speed. So from there I can find out the value of T1, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What will be the value of T1 coming from these three things? Tell me. Total distance is the distance it has traveled is 2 by 5x. Velocity or speed is v1. How much time it will take? 2 by 5x, which is the distance divided by v1. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Should not take so long for you to find it out. Anyways, now let us let us move on to the second period of time, T2. Time is T2, velocity is V2, and the distance it is moving is 3 by 5x.
3 by 5x.
Can you tell me how much is T2?
3x by 5 v1. 3x by 5 by v2.
3x by 5 V2. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, can you put both of these values in this equation?
Yes.
This one and this one. And can you tell me the value of average speed? Yes, bacha, I'm waiting. Okay, I leave it to you. I know you can calculate it. It will be 5 times V1, V2
V1.
upon 3 times V2, sorry, 3 times V1 plus 2 times
Times
V2.
v2.
You will get this, yes or no? Confident?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, well done. That was question number 1, and I will give you one more. I am sure that you would be able to do this. Oh,
Yes, sir.
my screen was visible or not? It was visible, no?
Visible, sir.
Okay. I just saw it not be getting shared. I got scared. It was visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I give you one more?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. If you can do any of these, that means you have done the rest of them. Don't worry. It's all about practice. The more you practice, beta, the better you are going to become. So here comes a question. And let us do it. And I hope you can do this one. I can give you the option as well. A train has a speed of 60 km per hour for 1 hour, 40 km per hour for the next half hour. What is the average speed in kilometer per hour? And we have 4 options as well. I'll put those 4 options also for you. These are the 4 options, my dear friends. Remember, we are dealing with average speeds. I just want you to be confident about what you are doing with the definition. These are the type of questions you will encounter in the examination hall. Do you want any help or you will be able to do this?
No, sir. We will do, sir.
Well done. That's the confidence that I want from my students. Well done, beta. It's always good to draw a simple diagram. So let us assume that the body is going to move from A to B. Then there is one point C here. From A to C, it moves with 60 kilometers. Oops. it moves with 60 km per hour. From C to B, it moves with 40 km per hour. From A to C, the time taken is 1 hour. From C to B, time taken is half of hour. You have to find out the average speed. Can you find out the average speed? If I call this distance as x1, if I call out this distance as x2. Yes, my dear friends.
Yes, sir.
Which one is the correct option? You have to calculate average speed. What is the total distance here?
100 kilometers.
The total distance here is x1 plus x2. Yes or no, bacha?
Yes, sir.
What is the total time here? We have to calculate it in kilometer per hour. So what is the total time?
T1, T2.
How much? What is the total time, bacha? 1 hour
One
for the first
plus
and a half hour
half
for the
hour.
next, right? You
Yes.
just have to calculate the value of x1. We can get the value of x1 from here, from these three things. Tell me what is the value of x1.
Sixty by
X1 is the distance. 60 km per hour is the uniform speed. And it moves for 1 hour. So this will be 60 kilometers.
60.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Pakka na? No confusions?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then from here, you can get the value of x2 from these three quantities. What is the value of x2 from these three quantities? It moves with 40 km per hour for half an hour. What will be the distance traveled?
20, sir.
20 kilometers
20.
would be the distance traveled. Now, can you tell me, beta, what is the average speed? Putting everything together. Can you tell me what is the average speed, bacha? It would be 80, 60 plus 20 divided by 3 by
80
2.
by 3 by 2.
So it will be 160 divided by 3
By 3.
kilometer per hour. Yes or no, bacha?
Yes, sir.
That was the answer that I was looking for. Well done. If you could have done this, congratulations. This one part of this topic of average speed is probably clear in your head. Yes or no? No, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sure.
Sure, sir.
I'll give you one question for your homework,
Okay, sir.
and I hope you try this at your place. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here it comes. Note down the points and then solve it and tell me the answer in the next class. A car moving on a straight road covers 1/3 of the distance with 20 kilometers per hour and the rest of the distance with 60 kilometers per hour. What is the average speed? Can you tell me? Will you try this at home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That brings us to an end for this class. In this class, what we have done, I hope you have noted down this question.
One second.
Note it down. In this class, we have dealt with the concept of speed and not velocity. We have dealt with speed. We have seen the different types of speed: uniform, non-uniform, average, instantaneous, and we have solved some good problems based on finding out the average speed. And I hope you have understood the concept of average speed. This is how you start
Yes,
things
sir.
off. The next class, we will go ahead. We'll also see some questions on instantaneous speed as well, average speed, and then we'll move on to average velocity. That's it from my side today. Take care. Have a nice day,
Thank
beta.
you,
If you have
sir.
any doubts,
Thank you,
please ask.
sir.